We got an email from a customer, typical email we would get, your website's broken. Fake email address, they weren't very nice, that's not all they said. And typically we wouldn't know how to help these people. We would just say, well, they didn't give us any details. The on-site person for Tealeaf said, well, why don't you pull up their session? And we're like, what? What are you talking about? And he says, well, they gave us information, let's just look for that information, we'll pull up their session, see what happened to them. Pulled it up, showed us the email they filled out, and showed us the previous page that resulted in the email. So right there, blew us away, showed us why we're getting this negative feedback. We were able to fix it that day. Thank you, Tealeaf, welcome.
One of the first aha moments for us with Tealeaf was being able to diagnose a problem that was frequently reported through our Opinion Lab voice of customer data. And that was related to this issue we were having in our billing path, where we had users who had an account with our site but weren't logged in. And as they progressed through the billing path, we were prompting them for a password. And at that point, a large number of users were failing at that point. This was the kind of thing that we never would have envisioned or been able to sort of uncover through our normal QA processes. And being able to see those sessions in Tealeaf uncovered an unknown use case that we were able to solve that was worth mid-six figures in terms of the amount of profit that it recovered for us.
Well, the business challenges that we faced prior to Tealeaf were numerous in that we had tons of data coming from systems such as Omniture and our log files, but we really had no way to answer the why when we saw changes in trends. And Tealeaf gave us the insight of how to drill in to the micro level and answer questions quickly and really quite conclusively.
We were losing leads and we weren't sure why. We had paid for these leads, you know, they came in through search or an affiliate channel or whatever, so we were paying for them, but they weren't converting because people were making simple mistakes on the form. So they would do things like type in their email address but put 2 instead of the @ sign, because the @ sign is the shift, right, for the 2. So there were things like that, or they would put 0 instead of O, and so we'd never get their lead to our back end, even though they tried to fill out our form. So we found this with Tealeaf, and it was like, oh my goodness, we've been missing out on what? On how many leads?
We launched the website out to 50% of our people. The new website, which we'd spent a year in development, absolutely failed. If we'd left it up, we would have lost about $3.5 million in revenue a year. We went back in Tealeaf and made some optimizations and really turned that around to a positive effect.
The moment that I realized that this product would make my life easier and better was when I realized both when I can do the deep dives and also when I could see the reporting and see the amount of people that were running into a certain circumstance that I had identified. So both of those were really important. The reason why the deep dive is so important is because I have a usability test background, and I've always known that when you're in the lab or when you're testing with customers that you've essentially hired to spend an hour with you to give you feedback on your website, that it is, I don't want to say it's fabricated, it's certainly not fabricated information, but yet it's not realistic. And so I think the most defining moment for me when I saw the product was actually being able to see the sessions and then click next, 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 and realize that the customer did this and then the customer did this. And that was jaw-dropping for me as a usability analyst.
We ran some opportunity cost analysis using Tealeaf to figure out what the error messages were, how many people were experiencing that, what was their conversion rate versus the people who actually put in a phone number, and found that to be the double-digit millions of dollars in revenue, not just in total bookings. So we've done this project, and it was extremely successful for the US. Where it failed was for the United Kingdom. So we run a global site. So what was odd for the UK is that their area codes can be 2 digits, 3 digits, or 5 digits. We had coded in there that it had to be between 3 and 5 digits, and so all the people who had stored in 2-digit phone numbers got errors. So this is part of the iteration of testing and learning through using Tealeaf, through doing A/B testing, multivariate testing, and listening to our customers. we've iterated now, done two separate releases around phone numbers, and just looking at phone numbers and collection on our site has delivered in the double-digit millions in revenues for the company. So absolutely something that was very valuable for us.